Welcome to the MichaelRood.tv app. We have a special treat for you today. We interviewed this woman on the Health Awakening. Please welcome Heather, the hygienist. Welcome, Heather.
Hi, thanks again for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
Yeah, excited to have you here. First of all, you are a Rood fan. Thank you for being a Rood fan. We really appreciate you. Heather actually, to those who don't know, provided information for a test for Michael to do after his stroke. So we very much appreciate that. Thank you. And Michael is healing up nicely. And we wanted to ask you about your journey to where you are now. You've been a certified biological hygienist and a registered hygienist. I hope I'm getting that right. For 27 years, you've done this for a long time. And
Yes.
𝐬𝐿𝐹 gave you an amazing revelation for a new direction in your life. Can you tell us how that all happened?
Well, I'm going to go back to the very beginning because after high school, I thought I wanted to be a teacher. So I started taking college classes all geared towards education. And then one day I was driving and I saw the Joy FM bumper sticker on the back of someone's car. And this thought hit me. I never did ask 𝐬𝐿𝐹 what he wanted me to do with my life. And that really struck me like, wow, you know, I haven't taken this to him. So I started praying and I was diligently seeking the Lord as to what direction do you want me to take with my life? Is education the direction that you have for me? And through a series of divine appointments, dental hygienist came up. Well, let me tell you, I started to cry because the thought of saliva seriously made me gag. Like, there is no way I am not hearing from you, Father, because you got the wrong girl here. I don't do that stuff. I'm a sympathetic vomiter. Okay. See it, hear it, smell it. I'm no good. So I was really questioning, am I seriously hearing from the Lord? I had already registered for summer classes. I'd already written the check, so it was late in the game. And in order for me to get into the dental hygiene program, I had to have anatomy and physiology in order to be able to apply, because you can only apply once a year. So if you don't get in, you have to wait an entire another year to get in. So I had to have this class. Unfortunately, this class was full on all three campuses, but I thought, well, you know what, if this is of the Father, then he'll work it out. So I go down to the registrar's office, and it's a small office. There are three people in front of me, and I could hear what they were saying. So the first person goes up to the lady and says, I need to get into anatomy and physiology. And the lady says, well, I'm sorry, it's full on all three campuses. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, thank God, I am not hearing from God. See, you know, there's no way I'm getting into this class. The second person goes, they want to get in to the anatomy and physiology class. And the lady says, sorry, full on all three campuses. I'll put you on a waiting list. The third person goes, I'm just like cracking myself up here. I'm like, oh, thank God, you know, I'm not going to have to be a dental hygienist. You know, same story. My turn. I go up to the lady and I'm like, you know, snickering, like, I need to get into that anatomy and physiology class. And she's like, well, I'm sure you know, it's full on all three campuses. Right then the phone rings. She answers the phone and someone dropped out of that anatomy and physiology class that I needed. And so she says to me, well, since you're standing here, do you want to take it? My mouth just fell open. I'm like, okay.
And you're like, well, maybe one of those other guys wants it.
Okay.
Right?
And, you know, not only that, Scott, there was no record of me registering for those other classes, and that $150 check never cleared. So it was such this is definitely the path that I'm supposed to go down. It was really peaceful because I knew, well, if this is my calling, then he's going to work everything out and he's going to make it so that I don't throw up on people. But that is how I got to be a dental hygienist. You know, it was totally not my idea. But I have to say, being a mom of twins and homeschooling my kids, it was the best career to have because I could work 1 day a week up to 5 days a week. And having my twins, we got a surprise pregnancy, you know, and not knowing that I was pregnant with twins till 18 weeks kind of set us back a little bit. But they were born at 33 weeks. And one of my twin daughters, Olivia, she was very sickly. You know, they were only 3'7" and 3'14" when they were born. So they were in the NICU for about 3 weeks. And she just had so many health issues. This kid was allergic to like 25 different foods. And I only found that out by taking her to like naturopathic doctors and stuff, because anytime I took her to the pediatrician, it was always the same thing: antibiotic, steroid, and a nebulizing treatment. And I knew this kid had something going on with her, and we did not vaccinate. So it was not, a cause of vaccination. There was something going on with her that we had to get to the bottom of. And so through a lot of testing and everything, we figured out food allergies and, different sensitivities. So I had to learn how to read a label. And I would have to basically shop at the health food store because she was allergic to things like flour and tomatoes, chicken, soy. I mean, we're talking like, basic food items, sugar, anything with sugar in it. So that is what started me on my health journey, was having Olivia's issues. And then it was in 2010 that my husband started having his gland blow up. And when I mean blow up, it was like the size of a golf ball. And I was like, why is this happening? And I had been a promoter of fluoride and root canals all up until this time. So I, was believing I was doing right by my patients. But it wasn't until this situation happened with my husband's gland that I kind of started looking into the mouth and what's going on there. And he had a root canal on number 30, which is on the lower right. And I started looking into root canals. And I was just like, I was flabbergasted that all this time I'd been in the dental field, I did not understand the connection between your teeth and the rest of your body. Like, you are literally, when you're in dental hygiene school, you are taught that anyone that does not believe in fluoride is a conspiracy theorist. I mean, you are taught that. So you just go along with your teaching, But it wasn't until I started digging myself that I was like, oh my gosh. And it was the Holy Spirit. I felt he was like nudging me, like telling me this is the root cause of my husband's issue. So we contacted a biological dentist in Clearwater, who is now deceased. But when he went in there, Scott, he said it looked like black oil. It did not show up on a 2D x-ray, by the way. It did not show up. But this root canal tooth was so infected down into the bone, they sent him to go get an IV right away to have like his blood cleansed. And, that gland never swelled like that again. So that really started me into like, oh my gosh, well, I read ingredients on food. Let me read the ingredients on these oral care products that I've been telling my patients about for, 10 plus years. And then I was shocked to find out, you mean to tell me that this is a pesticide, that, this is a carcinogen, and here I am promoting it as like, oh, it's so fantastic for you. And that is what started me on the journey of, really looking into oral care products and overall health. And one thing just kind of led into another. And as I had mentioned earlier, I really, from my heart, wanted to be able to give patients a line of products that worked, that actually were effective, but that were free of all of these toxins that are allowed, because it's considered a cosmetic. And that is where that prayer came in about, Father, give me that witty invention. But a long time passed between that prayer and the answer, which I will say, be very careful what you pray for, because if I had any idea how difficult it would have been, I don't know if I would have prayed that prayer, because it has been so difficult having a small business and the amount of time and money. And it's just, but you know what? Jehovah is so faithful. He has had doors closed where I needed them closed, but I didn't understand at the time, why couldn't we manufacture in Florida in the beginning? And we had to go to Georgia. We had to go to Georgia to manufacture. And I didn't understand. I'm like, you gave me this company. Why is it that this door is closed? But looking back now, it's thank you. Because had that door been open, I would not still be in business today, because it would have been too expensive. So his hand has been on this company this whole time. And I am pouring back into ministries. When you donate or when you purchase Simply Silver products, we support 2 ministries. We support Bless an Orphan in Peru, which rescues sex trafficked, abused, neglected children. And we also support an orphanage in Uganda. And so as the company grows, I want to support more and more ministries. I mean, I can't wait to be able to do more than 10%. I want to do 20%. I want to do 30%. I want to get up to 50% of donating all proceeds back into ministry, because that's why he gave this to me. It's not because I'm anyone special at all. I have a heart to serve him. And I just so want to be able to pour into other ministries, because that is his heart, and I don't mean to get emotional, but all praise and glory to him. And when you look back and you see, had I not prayed that prayer when I was 19 years old, it was the act of obedience. I was willing to do something that literally made me want to throw up, because I didn't know that he had this plan for me. So we need to be teaching our children to walk in their anointing and to support whatever decision it is that the Lord has put in their heart, and not be so, you're going to go to college and you're going to do this. College may not be your child's calling. We need to be raising up missionaries if that's their calling. Whatever it is that the Father has for that child, support them in it, because you never know. I never saw myself as a business person, ever. I don't like to be in front of the camera. I'm not a public speaker. And here I am. I've written 2 books. I do public speaking. And how many podcasts have I been on? Totally out of my comfort zone. But I feel that he calls people that, that are willing, that, what's the word I'm looking for? I don't think that I'm good enough to do it, but he sees something in me that he's using me, and I'm willing to serve him. So, whether it be a business owner or whatever it is, we are called to do it as for the Lord,
Well, Heather, thank you for sharing that story. We want to help support you and what you're supporting. So where can people go to get all the stuff that you've been talking about here?
They can go to my website. It's www.simplysilvermouthwash.com. And they can either do the testing through me, they can order products through me, they can subscribe and save, which is kind of a cheaper way of purchasing the products, making them a little bit more affordable. But they are so high quality ingredients, and you're not going to find a lot of fillers and junk in there that shouldn't be in there. So that's why they are a little bit more expensive than your Tuba Crest, but there's a reason for that.
All right, and well worth it. So thank you very much, Heather the Hygienist. Thank you for joining us on the MichaelRood.tv app.
Thank you for having me.